Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started, coming to a comfortable seat, letting the eyes close, letting the attention absorb into the breath. And bringing the hands together at the center of the chest and breathing in slowly. Releasing the hands, finding your chant sheet 3 times together, finishing with Om, breathing in. Sthira Sukham Asanam Prayatna Saityayananta Samapatibhyam Tato Dvanvan Abhigataha Sthira Sukham Asanam Prayatna Saityayananta Samapatibhyam Tato Dvanvan Abhigataha Sthira Sukham Asanam Prayatna Saityayananta Samapatibhyam Tato Dvanvan Abhigataha Go ahead and place the chant sheet off to the side, and then we're going to set up for reclined fish pose. So using your 2 blocks, placing 1 block under the heart, 1 block underneath the head. Once you get into your reclined fish pose, we're going to actually be in the pose with the arms overhead. In Supta Matsyasana, arms loosely overhead, and you could be holding hands, wrists, forearms, or elbows. So we're going to still explore the first few lines of our chant, where we're exploring the relationship between asana and this sukham, joyfulness or happiness. This is from Thich Nhat Hanh, and it's called Why the Buddha Kept Meditating. When I was a young monk, I wondered why the Buddha kept practicing mindfulness and meditation even after he had already become a Buddha. Now I find the answers plain enough to see. Happiness is impermanent, like everything else. In order for happiness to be extended and renewed, you need to learn how to feed your happiness. Nothing can survive without food, including happiness. Your happiness can die if you don't know how to nourish it. If you cut a flower but you don't put it in some water, the flower will wilt in a few hours. Even if happiness is already manifesting, we have to continue to nourish it. This is sometimes called conditioning, and it's very important. We can condition our bodies and minds to happiness in the 5 practices of 1, letting go, 2, inviting positive seeds, 3, mindfulness, 4, concentration, and 5, insight. So together here, we'll go through those 5 principles, those 5 practices in both yoga and Buddhism in the following weeks. Today, we'll start with the first conditioning, which is letting go. This aligns with the second line of our chant, where it talks about asana being attained by relaxation of effort, suggesting that this is a main way that we can support our stira and sukham, similar to what Thich Nhat Hanh was saying. So as our intention today, can we cultivate the principle of effort when necessary, relax when possible? And I was given this teaching at a training with Radni and Colleen, and they passed it on from a teacher they practiced with who I don't recall at this time. So trying to give credit even vaguely where credit is due. But this principle of effort when necessary, relax when possible. So attending as you practice today, where are you efforting? Are you efforting where it's necessary? And all of the places where it's not needed, can you let go a little bit more? And just let that be sort of a self-reflective intention for our practice today. And noting that this includes not just the physical practice, but the breath practice and the mental side of the practice, as well as the heart and spiritual side as well. Looking at it through all of those lenses. For the last few moments, we're going to take the arms and have them straight overhead now. So reach the arms straight towards the floor overhead, trying to bring the hands as much towards a prayer position, so palms together as possible, and the thumbs as close to the floor as they go. Again, enough effort to actually set that up, but then don't try to get the hands there through effort. Let relaxation, let any amount more opening come in. And just nice long inhales and exhales for just a few more rounds. And then bring the hands down all the way by the sides of the hips. Switch the legs into a cross-legged position. And then using the hands pressing down, the elbows pressing down to press yourself all the way up into a seated position. Once you get all the way up, you can turn to the right and move one yoga block off of your mat. Then turn to the left and move the other yoga block off of your mat. And then we'll meet in Tadasana at the front edge of the yoga mat if you want to take a moment to put on your playlist as we start to all transition to meet standing at the front edge of the mat. You can also take a moment that you're going to later be using your blankets. And so if you can actually put them in a messy pile like so to the front and off to the side of your mat, that'll help make the transition to using it easier later. Okay. Meeting together, Tadasana. On an inhale, lift the arms all the way up. Exhale, fold forward, drop the back of the head. Inhale, lengthen, gaze forward. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. Exhaling, Adho Mukha. Twisting here, you're going to bend the left elbow and the left knee down to the mat to twist to the right. And then switch, coming back to center, and then bending the right elbow and the right knee. And just with your breath, moving back and forth here from side to side, making sure you're really bending your elbows as much as you can there, that you're not just using the knees, but also the elbows to help get some depth and drop to rotate the spine. And then go ahead and return back to center, holding regular downward facing dog. The muscles of the face are probably one of the greatest indicators of when we are efforting when it's not necessary, and missing opportunities to relax. So keep checking in and letting that inform some of your investigation. At the end of the exhale, bend the knees, gaze forward, and hop or step lightly between the hands. Inhale to lengthen, and exhale, fold. Press into the feet, inhale, lift the arms wide and all the way up. Exhale, Tadasana. And inhale, arms lift. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. Exhaling, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Good. Walk the feet about 3 inches closer to the hands. Bend the knees a little bit. Take the left hand to the outside of the right ankle, or as close as it goes. Catch a hold of the outer leg, and then as you re-straighten the legs, let that pull you into a twist to the right. Pressing back, straightening through both legs from the thigh bones, reaching back firmly. Breathe. Let the head drop and be heavy. Keep the right shoulder externally rotating. Nice. And softly place the left hand out. Lightly rebend the knees. Right hand catches a hold to the outer left ankle, or as close as it gets. And then straighten the legs to draw yourself into the twist to the left. Again, try to let the head and neck be nice and loose and released. But there is definitely effort in that left arm to really firmly externally rotate here. Softly place the right hand down to the mat. Bend the knees and then step or hop the remainder of the way forward to the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, fold. Press into the feet. Inhale, lift the arms all the way up. Exhale, Tadasana, arms at the sides. Inhale, hook the thumbs, lift the arms up and arch back. Exhale, bend the knees, sweep the hands behind the back, interlace, extend the fist to fold. Inhale, bring the hands down to the floor, gaze forward, right foot back to lunge. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll through cat plank pose into upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Inhale to plank pose. Exhale, lower knees, chest and chin. Inhale, slide through into cobra pose. Float the hands off of the floor. Spread all 10 toenails into the mat firmly. Draw in at the outer hips. Lift the pubic bone away from the floor. And then bring the hands behind you into an interlaced position. Inhale, lift the fist up and back but in the air behind you for Shalabhasana clasp. Optional, bend the knees and reach the feet towards the knuckles to try to touch your knuckles. Optional, further still, you can slip the feet inside of the clasp behind you, one or both feet. Finding your version of the back bend here for a few more breaths. Nice work. And then inhale, Shalabhasana, arms and legs straight back in the air for everybody. Then floating cobra hands. Flex the feet, push straight up to plank pose, and then back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg all the way up and back in the air behind you. Exhale, bend the knee and open the hip up towards the ceiling. On the next exhale, bring the knee to the nose and the nose to the knee. Gaze forward and inhale, step the foot forward between the hands to lunge. Lower the left knee down to the ground, leaning forward, sweep the arms straight back at the sides. Exhale here. Inhale, shift the hips back to the left heel, lift the right toes, reach the arms forward. Exhale, shifting forward again. This time we're going to point the left toes, keep them pointed. And then inhale back. Exhale forward. Inhale back. Exhale forward. Inhale back. Exhale forward, stay here. Tuck the left toes under again. Lift the left knee so you're in a winged low lunge. Then inhale, high lunge, arms up alongside the ears. Extend the right leg and lift the left heel high. Exhale, rebend the knee and twist the arms open to the right. Right hand to the back of the left thigh, left arm up and over the ear into the side bend. Keep the right inner knee hugging into the center line. Nice. Then inhale, windmill around to the long left side of the yoga mat, arms up. And then hands to prayer, sinking down into Skandasana at the back edge of the mat, letting the right toes turn up. Left arm down, right arm over the ear into the side bend. Nice. And then hands to prayer. Shift to Skandasana to the front of the mat. Hands on the ground to transition if that helps. And then gazing over the shoulder, spin around into low lunge pose, facing the front of the mat. Hands frame the front foot. Then wiggle the right foot out to the right side. Lower the left knee down, twist the right arm up, and reach back to catch a hold of the left foot. Any variations that you like to do here, feel free, left elbow to the floor or left hand to a block to respectively increase or decrease the stretch. Maybe let the chest roll open here. And then we're going to switch the variation. So you're going to switch so you're holding onto the inside of your foot, the big toe side of the foot, and then you're going to drop your shoulder down towards your front foot. And that will just change which of the quads you're opening, so it gets just a little bit more across the whole front of that thigh and psoas. So letting the head drop, everything's moving down towards that right front foot. And then you're going to keep the foot where it is. Bring the right hand down on the inside of the right foot. So we're on two hands now from whichever version you've been doing. The left foot is still up and lifted. It hasn't gone anywhere. And then you're going to bring the hands up to your hips. And then all the way up towards the ceiling and breathe. Try to keep that heel pulling in, keep the toes spread. Nice. And then hands down, left toes come to the mat and lifting up. Come to floating pigeon pose. And then step off the mat on the outer edge of the foot. Twist the left arm up. Stay there, or left hand down to a block or the mat to twist the right arm up to the ceiling. And then two hands down, knee to nose, nose to knee. Gaze forward, step the foot forward between the hands, slide the fingers forward and float the left leg up in the air. Exhale, flex the foot, send it down by the right foot and fold over two legs. Bend the knees, inhale, hook the thumbs, stand up, straighten the legs and arch back. Exhale, bend the knees, sweep the hands behind the back, interlace, extend the fist to fold. Inhale, bring the hands down to the floor, gaze forward, left foot back to lunge. Exhale, downward facing dog. Again, inhale, roll through cat plank pose into upward facing. Exhale, back, downward facing. Inhale, move forward to plank pose. And exhale, lower knees, chest and chin. Inhale, slide through into cobra pose. And then floating cobra pose. Bend the knees, lift the thighs off the floor, reach back to touch. Then we go ahead and hold the ankles into your Dhanurasana bow pose, lifting up nice and tall. Nice. Breathing. And then you're going to keep the legs just where they are, and you're going to reach the arms straight forward in front of you. Try not to let the legs get any closer to the floor than when you're holding on to them. So reach the feet up, reach them forward towards your head, keep the arms nice and lifted. Nice, and then legs straight back in the air, Shalabhasana, flying, and then arms by the sides, floating cobra, and then flex the feet, push straight up to plank pose, and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up, bend the knee, and open the hip up towards the ceiling. Breathing here. And then exhale, bring the knee to the nose and the nose to the knee. Gaze forward and step into lunge pose. Inhale. Exhale, we're going to lower the right knee down to the ground, and just like before, you're going to lean forward and the arms are going to wing straight back at your sides, leaning nice and forward. And then as you inhale, you're going to shift back to sit toward the right heel, reaching the arms forward, left toes lift. Exhale, sending yourself forward, point your toes while you're forward here, and then inhale back. Exhale forward. Inhale back. Exhale forward. Inhale back. Exhale forward, stay forward, tuck the back toes, a low lunge pose with the arms straight back at the sides. And then inhale, high lunge. And then on your next inhale again, extend the left leg, lift the right heel high. Exhale, rebend and twist open to the left. Left hand to the back of the right thigh, right arm up and over the ear for the side bend. Again, that left knee hugs into the center line, and that right thigh bone is really pressing up into those fingers firmly. Good. And then on inhale, windmill around to face the right long side of your mat. Arms are up. And then exhale, bending down into that right knee into Skandasana. Side bending, the left arm overhead to the back of the room. And then hands to prayer or down on the floor for the transition. Skandasana to the front of the mat. And then gazing over the shoulder, pivot around into low lunge pose, facing forward, two hands around the front foot. Then wiggle the left foot out to the left side so the hands are on the inside of the foot. Lower the right knee down, twist the left arm up, and reach back to get a hold of the right foot. Okay, try to match the variation you did on the other side here. Good. All right, and then you're going to hold on to the inside of the foot and then drop the left shoulder down towards your left ankle. Let the head drop towards the floor. So kind of in reversing the rotation of the spine here and the hold of the foot. Good. And then keeping the foot where it is, bring two hands to the inside of the left foot first. Don't let that right foot drop. Then walk the hands up to the hips. And then reach them all the way up. Nice. Keep pulling that right heel in. Keep the toes spread. Keep reaching tall with the arms, finding any amount of a back bend in the upper chest. Nice work. Relaxing where possible. And then hands down, feet down. Lift the right knee off the floor, back into a wide lunge, and then lift the left foot into floating pigeon pose. And then step the foot off the edge of the mat. Twist the right arm up. Stay there, or switching hands. And remembering the intention, checking in with the face, especially back bends. And 2 hands down to the ground, knee to nose, nose to knee. Gazing forward, step the foot forward between the hands. Inhale, slide the fingers forward, float the right leg up in the air. And then exhale, flex the foot, send it down by the left foot and fold over 2 legs. Bend the knees, inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, hands to prayer, twist to face the right side of the room. Draw in at the outer hips. Look down at the floor for balance or keep the gaze lifted for a challenge. Lift the left foot off the floor and extend it any amount in the air behind you without letting it touch the ground. Same intention. Nice. Step the left foot forward. Inhale, center Utkatasana, arms up. Exhale, hands to prayer, twist to the left. Gazing down or keep it lifted. Right foot lifts and then extends any amount. Effort where necessary. Relax wherever else possible. Stepping the right foot forward. Inhale, center Utkatasana, arms up. Exhale, Navasana, boat pose. Exhale, Ardha Navasana. And all the way back up to Navasana. And then Baddha Konasana, feet down, knees are wide. Fold forward over the legs. Thich Nhat Hanh says there is a kind of joy in letting go. And maybe you've already noticed that in any of the moments that you remembered to relax a little bit more in the posture, letting go of effort a bit, that a little bit more joy is possible. And we can wonder and experiment with this on a larger scale. Michael Stone would often talk about it in terms of cravings and letting go of cravings, that when we can observe and really be with the flow of craving without giving into it, when we just let it go, on the other side, there's a real pleasure in being able to let go of a craving. That might even rival the pleasure of giving into the craving, which is an interesting hypothesis to explore. Gazing forward and coming all the way up to sit, returning to Navasana, boat pose. Nice, Ardha Navasana. Toes are spread and wide. Back up to Navasana, and then vinyasa back to downward facing dog. Follow your breath. Then inhale, lift the right leg all the way up and back. Exhale, step forward between the hands into low lunge pose. Lower the left knee down with you. Inhale, lifting up into Anjaneyasana. And then back the hips up. Take the right arm on top of the left. As you exhale, curl the elbows into the navel from this lifted position. As you inhale, sink the hips forward and down, lift the elbows up into the back bend. And then continue moving here with your own breath. Exhale, lifting and curling in. The inhale, sinking forward and down and lifting up. Nice. Really trying to stay in the center line as much as possible, drawing in those outer hips. The next time that you're in the back bend, stay in the back bend, and you can stay here with the arms as they are. You could reach the arms straight up towards the ceiling, or you could bring your hands outside the hips to blocks or the floor and lean back more into the back bend. Leading with the heart before the head, start to lean forward from the heart until the hands come forward in front of you. And then triangle pose, lift the left knee, ground the heel, open the left arm up towards the ceiling. Checking in with the face, muscles of the corners of the eyes, the tiny muscles of the chin, the tongue. Gazing down at the floor, Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose, transitioning forward. Bend the left knee, reach back with the left hand to catch a hold of the foot. And then regular Ardha Chandrasana. For the last few breaths, working with prayer at the center of the chest. Exhale, floating back, warrior two. Inhale, extend the right leg, arms up, gaze up. Turn the right toes in. Turn the left toes to face the back of the room. Exhale, warrior two, arms and legs nice and wide. And then extended side ankle pose, left arm down, right arm up and over the ear. Thinking a little bit about the hips here, that you really want that outer left sit bone to roll in and under as if it's trying to reach in the same direction that your navel is pointing. And then you're countering that with the right thigh really internally rotating and the top of the right thigh bone pressing back behind you, so that the hips are really engaged and working here. Nice. And then gazing down at the ground, release two hands down to the mat into low lunge pose. Inhale, lift the left leg all the way up and back in the air behind you. And then walk the hands halfway down the yoga mat. Lean the weight forward into the hands and then hop any amount towards your handstand practice. And then return, the right leg is lifted and we're walking the hands forward into one-legged downward facing dog. The same leg lifted as before, and everyone is on a slightly different side. So let's go with the left leg lifted. And then we will step forward between the hands into warrior one. Arms up alongside the ears. Good. And then put a little spring in the step to bring the right knee up into the chest. And then Natarajasana, dancer's pose. Keep that inner knee reaching in and up towards the ceiling. Then let's keep the foot where it is. Reach both arms straight forward, a familiar pose by now. And then really softly with care, landing into warrior one pose. Inhale, extend the left leg. And exhale, rotate around until you're facing the front of the room. Once you're facing the front of the room, bring the hands behind you into reverse prayer or opposite elbows. Bend the right knee a little bit, lift the left heel off the floor, and glide forward into Warrior 3 pose. Effort where necessary, relax wherever possible. Really tuning into the face. Make sure your gaze is forward and lifted, not looking straight down. Keep the hands as they are. Exhale, landing into Warrior 1 legs. Inhale, extend the right leg. And exhale, fold forward over the right leg, Parshvottanasana, keeping the hands as they are, or if you want to bring your hands down to blocks or the floor, feel free. And then inhale, lifting the chest all the way back up. Hands behind you once again if they moved anywhere else. We're going to turn the right toes in, turn the left toe slightly out to parallel to the side of the mat. And then once again, sink down into Skandasana, bending into the left knee. Let the right toes come up, and then we're going to sink all the way down to sit. And then you can release the hands, set the left leg for evolved Janu Shirshasana, twist to the left, and then side bending to the right leg. Make sure you keep rolling the chest up towards the ceiling. And then inhale, come all the way back up. Bring the hands to prayer and try to transition without using your hands. You're going to bring the left knee up and then pivot to face the front of your mat. And then again, try without using your hands on the ground. You're going to lift the hands up to give you a little bit of momentum to crawl forward towards lunge. And then hands down, press back, downward facing dog. If you want to add a vinyasa cycle, always feel free. Inhale, lift the left leg all the way up and back. Exhale, step forward between the hands into low lunge. Lower the right knee with you, and then inhale, lift up into Anjaneyasana. Good, and then back the hips up away from the floor, just like we did on the other side. Left arm on top of the interlace, and again, you're gonna exhale, tuck in, and then inhale, back bend. So again, moving on your own breath here. Again, trying to stay in the center line of each foot, like the left foot is on an ice skate, really hugging in through the outer hips. And then the next time that you're in the back bend, stay in the back bend with the same options for the arms, the eagle arms, the arms up, or the arms down and out to the sides. Nice. And then again, always leading with the heart rather than the head to exit the pose, leaning forward, bringing the hands down, and then triangle pose. The right knee lifts, the heel grounds, and open the right side of the body up towards the ceiling. Always feeling free to set that left hand with the support that you need. Effort where necessary. Relax wherever is possible. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose, gliding forward. Bend the right knee, reach back with the right hand to catch a hold of the foot for the back bend variation to start with. And then regular Ardha Chandrasana. For the last few breaths, maybe playing with the hands at prayer. Exhale, floating back, warrior two. Inhale, extend the left leg, arms up, gaze up. Turn the left toes in, turn the right toes to face the back of the mat. Exhale, warrior two. Take an inhale here. And then on your next exhale, extended side angle pose. Again, tuning into the places of effort where you really want to be working here in the legs that we worked on the other side. And then seeing if there are places that you can let go of effort that aren't so needed. And then gazing down at the floor, low lunge pose, two hands to the mat. Inhale, lift the right leg all the way up and back in the air behind you. Keep the leg lifted, walk the hands halfway down the yoga mat. And then hopping any amount towards your handstand practice. Same intention. And then we'll meet with the right leg lifted, walking the hands forward into one-legged downward dog. And then exhale, stepping forward, warrior one pose. From warrior one, put a little bit of a spring in that right knee and bring the left knee up into the chest. And then catch a hold of the left foot with the left hand, transitioning into Natarajasana. And watch that knee, the left knee tends to wing out to the side. You want to feel that inner left knee cutting in, hugging in, and then cutting up towards the ceiling. Keeping the foot where it is, reach both arms straight forward. And then exhale, stepping back, warrior one. Inhale, extend the right leg. And exhale, rotate around till you're facing the front of the room. Once you're facing the front of the room, bring the hands behind you into reverse prayer or opposite elbows. Bend the left knee a little bit, lift the right heel fully up off the floor to wrap the right hip forward, and then lean forward and out, warrior three pose. Again, that nice lifted chest and gaze that lengthens forward rather than down. Low navel lifting away from the floor, outer hips hugging in. Toes nice and spread and active. Jaw and tongue released. Keeping the arms, exhale, step back into warrior one legs. Inhale, extend the left leg, and then fold forward over the left leg, setting the hands as you need. Letting the back of the skull drop fully. So the neck is another place like the face that we have a lot of extra effort that's often not needed in many of the poses. And then pressing into the feet, inhale, lift the chest all the way up. Turn the left toes in and parallel the feet to the wide right side of your mat. Then bending down into Skandasana to the back of the mat, bending down into that right knee. Once you let the left toes come up to the ceiling, then you can go ahead and sit down behind that heel and sit up for our revolved Janu Shirshasana. So as you come down to sit, that right heel will come into the groin. You're opening still to the long side of the mat. And then side bend down the left leg. Nice. And then coming all the way back up. Again, we're going to transition or attempt to without our hands. So you're going to bring the right knee up into the chest and then rotate the hips to face forward. And then reach the arms up to give yourself a little bit of momentum to reach forward into a lunge modified. And then we're going to step both feet forward and fold down into Uttanasana, standing forward fold at the front of the mat. And then with a light bend in the knees, roll the spine all the way up to stand. Good. From here, slide your messy blanket in so it's right in front of your mat. And then right in the middle, in the messiest portion, you're going to step your right foot up onto it. And then bring the left knee into the chest. Slowly wrapping into Garudasana legs. And then let the arms follow, the right arm on top of the left. So this will really work that standing right leg, which is the goal. Feeling the outer hips work, the ankles strengthen. Really nice. Now controlled. We're going to bring the left knee up into the chest. Step behind you so you're on your mat with that left foot, and then the right knee comes into the chest. You can release the arms and give a little bit of a hug in of the right knee. Okay. And then left hand to the hip, right hand to the big toe or the knee as you extend the legs straight forward. If you're extending, otherwise hold on to the knee just as it is. And then open out to the right side. Return to face forward. And then whether your leg is bent or straight, do hold on to the big toe here. And then wherever the right leg is, that's fine, bent or straight, we're going to bend the left knee. Tilt the right heel towards the floor so you're at a little bit of an angle. And then we're going to have our controlled lower down. Nice. Once we're down, we'll come all the way down. You can move your messy blanket off to the side. We'll use it again on the other side in a moment. Transition the left leg into half Virasana here. Make sure you roll the calf flesh out to the side. Then we're going to step the right foot to the floor, lift the hips up, tuck them under, lower towards the back edge of the pelvis, and then stay here. Come down to elbows. Grab one of your blocks and place them underneath the head and the heart like we started with, or you can go all the way down into the mat. If you're all the way down and the knee is still grounded, you can hug that right knee in. So half Supta Virasana. Okay. And then if you're lying on your back, you're going to slowly start to come up. And then we'll all come so that the hands are right outside of the hips. And then so from here, we're going to lift the hips up and stretch your left leg back into low lunge. Then lower the knee down, slide the right heel forward for Ardha Hanumanasana, or continue extending the legs away from each other for the full version of Hanumanasana. This is Thich Nhat Hanh again, releasing your cows as a part of letting go. One day the Buddha was sitting with some of his monks in the woods. They had just come back from an alms round and were ready to share a mindful lunch together. A farmer passed by looking distraught. He asked the Buddha, "Monks, have you seen some cows going by here?" "What cows?" the Buddha responded. "Well," the man said, "I have 4 cows, and I don't know why, but this morning they all ran away. I also have 2 acres of sesame. This year the insects ate the entire crop. I have lost everything. My harvest and my cows. I feel like killing myself." The Buddha said, "Dear friend, we've been sitting here almost an hour, and we have not seen any cows passing by. Maybe you should go and look in the other direction." When the farmer was gone, the Buddha looked at his friends and smiled knowingly. "Dear friends, you are very lucky," he said. "You don't have any cows to lose." Slowly start to bend back into the right knee. Meeting in a low lunge pose. From low lunge, slide the left heel in until the heel easily comes down to the ground, and then lift up into warrior 1 pose. So from here, we're going to come to revolve side angle pose. Either keep the left heel all the way down or lift the left heel up all the way in a high lunge pose. And then we're going to side bend by dropping the right arm down by the right side bend the left arm over to the right. Okay. And again, the back heel is all the way down or all the way up. Then you're going to take that nice long side length and then wrap it forward, hooking the left elbow outside the right knee, bringing the hands to prayer. Okay. And if you want to work on any other arm variations for the next few breaths, feel free. Then hands will come back to prayer if they were anywhere else. Look down at the floor for balance, and then we're going to lean forward until you can hover the left leg off of the mat. Then step the left foot forward next to the right foot, so you're in Utkatasana twist. Inhale, center Utkatasana, arms up. Exhale, standing Tadasana. Nice. Okay, so make sure your blanket is still in a nice messy pile. And you're going to walk forward and step your left foot onto the blanket now. And then again, with care, moving nice and slow, Garudasana. Nice, very controlled. Slowly bring the right knee into the chest. Step the right foot behind you carefully to the yoga mat. And then the left knee comes into the chest, and the hands can release to hug the left knee in. Right hand to the hip, left hand to the knee or the big toe if you're extending the leg any amount. Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. And then opening out to the left side. Return the leg to center, and again, hold on to the big toe now, whether the knee is bent or extended. Bend the knee a little bit, the right knee a little bit. Tilt the left foot to the floor and stick your butt up towards the ceiling. And then have a nice slow, controlled descent-ish to the ground. Good. Once you get down to the ground, we're going to place the right leg into your half virasana position. Again, when you do that, make sure that you are rolling the calf flesh out to the right side, sitting up on anything that supports your practice. And then you're going to tuck the hips under and lower down. Thich Nhat Hanh goes on to say, I knew a rich woman living in New York City who purchased a piece of land adjacent to her building. She wanted to build a huge apartment complex on the land and then sell it so she could make a lot of money. A friend came to visit her and stood looking out the window. It had a beautiful view of the George Washington Bridge and a lot of blue sky. The friend turned to the woman who had bought the land and said, don't build the apartment complex. If you do, you won't have this beautiful view anymore. Your neighbors won't have a view anymore. You'll no longer see the blue sky and the river. You only need to stand here and look, and already you can have happiness. What is the use of having more money and losing all that beauty and happiness? The woman was able to hear this and changed her plans for the building, releasing one big cow, thanks to the wise counsel of a friend. One of the biggest cows that we have is our narrow idea of happiness. You may suffer just because of your idea, and you continue to suffer until one day you are capable of releasing the idea, and right away you feel happy. Consider practicing to release your cows. Take a piece of paper and write down the names of your cows, the things you think of as crucial for your well-being. Perhaps this week you can start by releasing just one, perhaps two. Or perhaps each one takes a year or more. The more cows you release, the more joyful and happy you become. Okay, go ahead and slowly start to walk up onto the hands. Good. Make sure the left knee is bent, the left foot is on the floor. And then hands outside the hips, you're going to lift up and stretch the right leg behind you into low lunge. Once the right leg is behind you, then lower the right knee down to the ground and then shift into Ardha Hanumanasana or sit up for the more extended version of Hanumanasana. So notice any resistance to this sort of two-part practice. So one part is letting go of the idea of more, that more is how we get happy, which in the opposite way of looking at the picture is that right now, just exactly as your life, as it is now, is all you need. The other part of the practice is letting go a bit of what we already have, and that can lead to happiness. Our culture, patterns of consumerism and acquisition has had a whole lifetime of moving through us. What might we be able to let go of there? There is a kind of joy in letting go. And just notice any and all resistance to any of the cow dharma here. And let that be part of the practice too. I'm going to slowly transition into low lunge pose. And then stepping the right heel in a little bit to the right heel grounds, and then lifting up into warrior one legs or arms. Already in warrior ones. Then we're going to find our side bend, dropping the left arm down, reaching the right arm overhead to the left. And again, making sure that your heel is in the position you want for your revolved side angle pose. So either all the way down or all the way up. Okay, then we're going to take this length that you've cultivated in the right side and wrap it forward and around to hook the right elbow outside of the left knee. Hands to prayer or matching the version you did on the other side. Breathe. Good. And then you're going to gaze at the floor, hands are in prayer, and then slowly start to lean forward until that right leg is hovering off of the ground once again. And then step the foot forward into twisted Utkatasana. Inhale, center Utkatasana. Exhale, fold forward over the legs. Then press into the feet. Inhale, lift the arms wide and all the way up. Exhale, Tadasana. And now you're going to make sure that blanket is off to the side. You're going to have your one yoga block forward in front of the mat. You're going to step the left foot up onto that block, hands on the hips, and you're going to let that right leg hang in space. I'm going to pivot so that you can see this from the side angle. And then we're going to tune the outer left hip. If you're here last week, same thing. You keep the right foot flexed. The key is you want your right heel to come to the floor via sticking the left hip out to the left side. Make sure you're not sticking it back. It's only to the left. Right heel comes down, and then you suck it all the way back up. And then we're just going to keep doing that down and up. Nice. Then the next time that the foot is floating, keep it floating, and then cross the right ankle over the left knee for four-shape position, and then balancing on the block, coming down into the balance. You can let the hands sort of rest on that block underneath your foot. You can cradle your shin, or you can keep reaching the arms straight forward. From here, we're going to slowly come all the way back up, right knee into the chest. Step the right foot back behind you onto the mat, lift the left knee into the chest. Then bring the hands to prayer. Take the left foot behind the right leg and then off the mat, off to the side, but don't touch the ground. The right hand is going to stay at half prayer. Reach the left arm out to the side. You're going to bend the right knee and try to get the left hand and the left foot as close to the floor as you can without actually touching. So the opposite hip now is strengthening. Then go ahead and place the left hand and the left foot down. So here you're in a nice Vashisthasana, so we'll just keep that going. Stacking into Vashisthasana, side plank pose. Then we're going to flip into the half back bend, but without touching the floor. So half of a back bend. Then restack into side plank pose. Then step the right foot forward back where it was. Right hand to half prayer. You're going to float the left foot off the floor a little bit, then reach the left hand out so you're in that low hover position, and then slowly come all the way up, the right outer hip hugging in, left knee into the chest, and then tree pose. Arms all the way up towards the ceiling. Nice, and keeping the arms up, left knee into the chest. And then spiraling the left knee outside of the right ankle down to sit into Ardha Matsyendrasana, seated spinal twist to the right. Right arm back, inhale the left arm up, and exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, face forward. And exhale, counter twist to the left. Inhale, face forward. And then unravel the right leg behind you to come into pigeon pose. The left knee bent at the front of the mat, the right leg straight back behind you. So of course, our letting go practice sort of directly results in happiness when we do this, when we're letting go of things that disturb us and things that are unpleasant or things that, we can't change, which is always good letting go work. But we tend to stumble or have more resistance when it's letting go of things that we think might make us happy, or have been conditioned to think are happy, or maybe for a brief time make us happy, but in the long run, don't. So it can be particularly interesting and fruitful to explore those places of resistance. This is a poem called No Trail by David Budville. When I was young, I believed my work and passion would get me where I wanted to go. Now my hair is falling out, and I know nothing I have done amounts to anything. My life is like the bird's path across the sky. It will leave no trail. And I think there's one perspective where that seems like a really pessimistic, sad, disappointing poem. And there's the side where it's actually a really beautiful mission for life. To fully fly across the sky in that amazing way that birds do and leave no trail. And that is a beautiful goal for life. Walking up onto the hands. And tuck the right toes, lift the right knee, and step the left foot back into high plank pose. And then step the feet forward around the hands into squat pose. Nice. Then hands down, parallel the feet, fold over wide, extended legs. And then hands to the hips. Inhale, lift all the way up to stand. Okay, and you've got your block out there, stepping the right foot up to the block. The left foot will dangle. Okay, so again, we're doing our side to side with the hips to get the left heel to the ground, not the toes. Focus on the heel, focus on the hips moving to the side, resist them moving back. We're really trying to tone that outer right hip here. Nice. And then keep the foot lifted, crossing it into four shape position, and then coming on down. Lifting the arms all the way back up, left knee into the chest. Step the left foot to the mat behind you, bringing the right knee up into the chest. Hands to prayer. Good. Bring the right foot behind the left foot and then start to stretch it off of the mat. The left hand stays in half prayer. The right arm reaches out, and you're going to try and get the right hand and the right foot as close to the floor as they can go without touching. Feel that left hip work. Then go ahead and let them come down. And then you're stacking into side plank pose. And then you're coming into the half back bend. So flipping into the half back bend, but don't let the toes touch the floor. And then a side plank pose. Then stepping the foot forward in front of you, back where it was. Left hand in half prayer. Lift the right foot off the floor first. Float the right fingers off then next. And then slowly coming all the way up. And then tree pose. Arms all the way up. And then right knee into the chest, keeping the arms up. Spiraling down, Ardha Matsyendrasana. Seated spinal twist, twisting to the left once you're grounded. And then inhale, face forward. And exhale, counter twist to the right. And then inhale, face forward. Unravel the left leg behind you for pigeon pose. Effort where necessary. Relax wherever possible. Where could this get threaded through your life a little bit more? In any of the ways we considered in class, or ways that, any of the myriad of ways that we didn't discuss. We're going to walk the hands back up to lift the chest. Good. Move anything you've been sitting on underneath the right buttocks. And this time we're going to lean into the right buttocks and wrap the left foot forward to sit, separating the feet in front of you, and then recline onto the back for 2 rounds of back bending. So bringing the heels in close. I recommend if you're working on wheel to make these wheels, but bridge is also a wonderful reclined back bend. So placing your hands, the first of 2 back bends when you're ready, lifting up. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering down onto the back and extending the legs straight up towards the ceiling. And then feet down. Second of 2, placing the hands and lifting up. If you've ever worked on Dvipada, that's the wheel version where your forearms are on the ground, the hands interlaced behind your head and the head lifted. That could also be a fun variation to work on here. A few more breaths. And then lowering down, feet coming up towards the ceiling, giving them a little bit of a shake out. And then let the knees drop into the chest, but without hugging them in. Good. And then we'll just take a little rock forward and backwards until you can come all the way up to sit. Okay. So we're working on Raja Kapotasana, Ekapada Raja Kapotasana like we did last week in pigeon leg. This week we're going to work with Anjaneyasana leg. You've done versions of this many times throughout the class. And so what's nice about this version is that it adds a little bit of a balance component to it where the pigeon leg doesn't. So this drawing in that activation of the outer hips that we've tuned quite a bit, but also this sense of the stability of the front leg, feeling like you kind of have like an ice skate on, like really grounding. It can be really nice and free. So the first version we're going to do, we'll do 2 on each side. Is to bring the foot back behind us and either catch a hold with your hands and just kind of work holding on to the foot like so. Or if you want to increase the balance, I like to start with the arms nice and wide, helps to encourage the openness of the chest. Reach the arms up and back and then start to lift the head and the gaze. And then this is really where some of the balance starts to come in because you've lifted your gaze. And then you really want to check in with your face. It's really easy in Anjaneyasana for the eyebrows to go skyward and everything to tense. So try to keep that nice and soft. We'll hold in either of those 2 versions for a few breaths. Again, you exit by leading with the heart rather than the head. And then you'll take your strap with a little loop around the front foot. And then we're going to try it with the strap. So we'll all have a chance to do that harder version where the gaze is upwards. So a similar thing, you're going to hold onto the strap. And then slowly lift the gaze. Once the gaze is lifted, you can think about walking the hands closer. And again, we'll let the hands slide through, lean forward with the chest. You'll step into a plank pose, and then do the other side, okay? So I'll talk us through that, but if there's any questions, let me know. Otherwise, get your strap close by with a small loop. If you know that your knee is sensitive, putting a blanket down like Ty is doing is a great idea. And we'll start with the right foot forward and the left knee back. Okay. So again, we're gonna start without the strap. And I do encourage you, so it's one thing I find that happens is that people's back knee is too close to the right foot so that when you bend it, you're right here on the kneecap. And that's really painful and not so great for the kneecap. So if you straighten and slide the leg further back so that when you bend the knee, you're actually on the thigh, the bottom of the thigh, rather than the kneecap itself, that goes a long way to making this a more approachable pose. Okay? So then again, you're going to lift up, hands will come to the hips. You're pulling the back foot up and in. And then you can either reach back to catch the hold of the foot with 2 hands, or again, if you want to start to already work on the balance way of coming into the pose, you'll reach the arms nice and wide and then up, bend the elbows, and then you'll let the hands drop back as if you're going to touch that foot, although you never need to. And then you breathe and balance here in the background. Again, notice any places that the body is sort of wobbling. Try to draw that into the center line. Notice any places where you're doing too much effort. Nice. Then leading with the heart, release forward and down, and go ahead and grab your strap and lasso up the left foot. Okay. So you'll start to lift up into the pose. Bring the arms up and overhead first, elbows towards each other. Then start to lift the gaze. So then you find that first balance. Then while you're here, see about walking the hands any amount closer towards the foot, maybe just like a ½ an inch or so. But once you find that lift of the chest, there's usually a little bit more space. And then you breathe, balance. Good. And then leading with the heart, reaching forward and down. Good. Stepping to plank pose. Holding plank pose for a moment. Good. And then we'll switch, stepping the left foot forward. Once the left foot gets forward, you can take the strap off of your foot. Set it to the side. Okay, and just like last week, I'm gonna let you do the second side on your own without me talking at you, so that it's something that you're really going to tune inwards with. Try to follow the same steps, about 5 breaths in the 2 different variations. Keep your intention going. So this should be about moving into the second variation if you haven't yet already. Okay, and take your time finishing, but whenever you're done, you're going to do that brief plank pose for about 4 breaths, 4 or 5 breaths, and then you're going to grab your blanket, fold it down the long ways, and then let yourself be supported in prone shavasana here. This is called My Teacher, also by David Budbill. Nature is my teacher. She never asks me anything, never says a word. In her class, no assignments, deadlines, or requirements. Benign, indifferent, she doesn't care what I do. All she does is wait. You can decide if you would like to remain in this version of Shavasana for your Shavasana, or if it would feel more comfortable to slowly exit and then set up to take traditional Shavasana on your back and maybe place the blanket roll underneath your knees instead. Feel free. But going ahead and transitioning or staying as you are for your Shavasana. Slowly begin to breathe a little bit more deeply. If you stayed in the prone position, on the next inhale, let that carry you back to a child's pose. And if you're lying on the back, you can start to bend the knees and gently draw them into the chest. If you're in child's pose, the forehead is already resting on the ground. If the knees are into the chest, curl to the right side and let the forehead come to the ground, connecting the third eye to the earth. And we'll all come all the way up to sit. Bringing the hands together at the center of the chest and breathing in slowly. Bowing down to the teacher within all things and beings, chanting along or responding with Jai. Om Bolo Sakuru Bhagavana Ki Jai. Namaste.